Hello and welcome back to Tiny Win English.
The soft little corner where we learn real English and breathe for a minute.
I'm Chloe.
And I'm Sam.
We're very happy you're here.
Truly.
Maybe you're walking home.
Maybe you're washing dishes and pretending the spoon is not the fifth spoon.
Maybe you're on the sofa with a blanket.
Maybe you're sitting at your desk, looking at one task you really do not want to start.
If that's you, yes, today's episode is for you.
Quick check-in. If your brain were weather today, are you sunny, foggy, or tiny thunderstorm?
I'm giving myself foggy with hope.
I'm sunny outside, paperwork storm inside.
And that leads perfectly to today's topic. Stop procrastinating and start today.
Oof, painfully relevant.
We're going to talk about why we delay things, how to begin without drama, and how to use simple, real English while we do it.
So you get life reflection and listening practice at the same time.
This episode is around B1 to B2 level, so some parts may feel a little richer. But you do not need to catch every word. Stay with us.
We will keep the English clear and spoken, and you can always come back and listen again later.
If this episode helps you, you can subscribe to Tiny Win English and send it to a friend who is also saying, "I'll do it tomorrow."
And if you want, tell us in the comments, what is one thing you have been putting off this week?
Near the end, we will do a slow, useful word tour with 10 expressions from today's episode.
So stay with us, because that part is perfect for replaying and shadowing.
And one more thing before we start.
Yes,
Procrastination is not always laziness.
sometimes it is fear wearing comfortable clothes.
Sometimes starting feels like standing beside a train in the station and wondering how on earth it will ever move.
Yes, and somehow the train is your email.
Exactly. So first, let's talk about what procrastination really is. A very useful word here is procrastinate. When you procrastinate, you delay something again and again, even though you know it matters.
And a very common spoken phrase is, put it off. If I put something off, I keep pushing it into later.
Exactly.
Imagine this. You need to send one email. It might take 4 minutes.
But suddenly you need tea, then better lighting, then a cleaner desk, then a completely new personality.
Right. The email is small, but the feeling around the email is big.
That feeling can be fear, shame, boredom, confusion, or just mental noise.
Another useful word is avoidance. Avoidance means moving away from something because it feels uncomfortable.
So procrastination is often not a time problem first. It is an emotion problem first.
Exactly. Maybe you know this feeling.
You open the laptop, see the task, and your whole body becomes a closed shop.
That feels very familiar.
I had this with a medical form last year. It was boring, official, and full of tiny boxes. Nothing dramatic, but I did not want to do it, so I kept telling myself I needed the right quiet hour. The perfect hour. The magical adult hour.
Which never comes.
Exactly. The form sat there for 9 days, and every day it became emotionally larger. It was just paper, but in my mind it became this heavy gray cloud. Then one morning I told myself, I am not doing the whole form. I am only writing my name and address. And once I started, the train finally left the station.
That image is so real. The hardest part was not the form. It was the moment before the form.
Yes.
My version was a message I needed to send to someone I had disappointed a little. Not a disaster. Just awkward. I kept putting it off for 5 days. I cleaned my kitchen. I watched videos about productivity. I organized old receipts, which is honestly a cry for help.
I know.
And underneath all of that was one feeling. I did not want to feel awkward for 30 seconds, so I chose 5 days of low-level stress instead.
Which so many people do.
If this sounds like you are not weird.
Not at all. This happens to a lot of people. A simple point here is this. When you delay something, do not ask only, how do I manage my time? Also ask, what feeling am I trying not to feel?
Am I avoiding boredom? Fear? Uncertainty? The possibility that I will not do it well?
Exactly. Name the feeling and the task becomes more honest.
And, for English learners, notice these phrases. Procrastinate. Put it off. avoidance. This is real spoken English, not textbook English only.
You'll hear them again in the word tour.
So if procrastination is often emotional, what do we do next?
Second, we make starting so small that the brain stops shouting. A very useful phrase here is tiny step. A tiny step is the smallest possible action that opens the door.
Not write the whole report, more like open the file and type the title.
Exactly. Another phrase is get the ball rolling. It means start something so it can continue more easily.
I love that phrase because it admits the beginning is the weird part.
Right? Once the ball is rolling, you do not need the same force.
Or back to our train, the first little movement matters most.
Imagine you want to exercise after work.
Dangerous fantasy. But yes,
If the first step is do a full 1 hour workout, your brain may panic.
mine says no thank you, I suddenly need to lie on the floor.
But if the first step is put on my shoes and stretch for 2 minutes, that is different.
Small enough to begin, small enough to not argue with.
Exactly. Another mini scenario, you need to study English.
But you are tired, and your phone is glowing like a tiny nightclub.
So the tiny step is not study for an hour, it is read one page, or listen to this podcast for 5 minutes, or repeat 3 sentences out loud.
Yes, that is a real start.
Years ago, when I had to write a long research paper, I made a rule. On bad days, I only had to open the document and write one ugly sentence. Just one. It could be weak. It could be clumsy. It could be embarrassing. It just had to exist.
One ugly sentence. I respect that,
It sounds almost silly.
but it works.
It did work. Because once I wrote one sentence, I often wrote 3, then maybe 5. Not always, but often enough. And even on the days when I wrote only 1, something important happened. I returned. I stayed in relationship with the work. The train moved 1 centimeter.
I need that on a wall somewhere.
If this sounds like you, here is the point. Make the first step so easy that your excuses feel a little weak.
Not cruelly weak, just gently weak. Like, really? You can't open the notebook?
Right.
Also, maybe you know this feeling. You wait for motivation like it is a guest who forgot your address.
I know.
But action often comes before motivation, not after.
That is the core. Do not wait to feel ready. Use a tiny step to create readiness.
And for our English learners, tiny step and get the ball rolling are both useful everyday expressions. Very natural, very spoken.
So now we know 2 things. First, delay is often emotional. Second, starting must be small.
And the next question is practical.
Yes. How do we make starting easier in real life, in a tired body, in a messy room, on a normal Tuesday? Third, let the environment help you.
Ah, yes, because willpower is dramatic, but a sticky note is practical.
Exactly. Here is a common phrase, drag your feet. If you drag your feet, you move very slowly because you do not really want to do the thing.
And another very useful phrase is show up. Show up means be there, begin, arrive for the task, even if you're not amazing yet.
Exactly. Now imagine this situation. You want to practice English after dinner.
But the sofa has emotional power.
So before dinner, you put your notebook on the table. You open the podcast app. You place your headphones there too.
Like little runway lights.
Yes, exactly like runway lights. You are making a path that your tired evening self can follow.
I did this with guitar practice once.
Oh, tell us.
I kept saying I wanted to practice for 15 minutes a day. Beautiful plan. Very wise. Very fake. The guitar stayed in its case under a chair behind a bag, which is basically where habits go to die.
That feels very true.
So I changed one thing. I put the guitar in a stand in the middle of the room.
Visible.
Visible and slightly annoying.
Perfect.
And because it was there, I touched it more. I played one song badly, then maybe another. I still dragged my feet some days, yes, but I showed up more often. And that mattered more than all my fancy plans.
That really does matter.
A lot, actually.
Another mini scenario, if you need to send a hard email, write the subject line first and keep the draft open.
If you need to go for a walk, put your shoes by the door.
If you need to pay a bill, put the letter on your keyboard, not in a mysterious paper mountain.
Yes. Do not hide the train ticket and then ask why the train never leaves.
Exactly. So, the simple point is this: do not build a life where starting depends on heroic feelings.
Build a life where the next step is already waiting for you.
And if this sounds obvious, good. Useful things are often obvious and still life changing.
Also, you are not failing because you need support.
This happens to a lot of people.
For English learners, notice how natural show up is. We use it for meetings, practice, friendships, work, many things.
And drag your feet is a great spoken phrase because you can hear the emotion inside it.
So now we have emotion, tiny steps, and environment.
Which brings us to the fourth part.
Yes. How do we keep going without becoming perfect for 3 days and then disappearing for 3 weeks?
Fourth, we need a kinder idea of progress.
Because this is where many of us become very dramatic.
Exactly. One word here is perfectionism. Perfectionism means you want something to be so good that beginning feels dangerous.
Or finishing feels illegal unless it is flawless.
Right. Another useful phrase is all or nothing thinking. This means you see only two choices: perfect success or total failure.
If I can't do it perfectly, I do nothing. If I miss one day, the whole plan is ruined.
Exactly. And the last word for this part is momentum. Momentum is the energy that builds when you keep moving.
Like the train is finally out of the station.
Exactly. Here is a life situation. Someone wants to wake up early, study English, exercise, answer every email, eat perfectly, and become a new person by Thursday.
I have met that person. It is me.
Oh, I know.
I once made a beautiful weekly plan. I had colors. I had boxes. I had a water bottle schedule. It was almost art. On Monday, I followed it. On Tuesday, I was tired. On Wednesday, I missed one study session, and because of my lovely all-or-nothing thinking, I decided the whole week was broken.
There it is.
So I stopped. Not because I had no time at all, but because I had lost the fantasy of doing it perfectly. And without the fantasy, I suddenly felt like doing nothing.
That is such an important point.
Later, I tried again with a very boring rule. Miss one time if you must, but do not make the next time complicated. Study 10 minutes, walk 5 minutes, write 2 lines, show up in a small way. That is how momentum came back.
I had a similar lesson when I was learning another language years ago. I thought a real study session needed 45 serious minutes, a clean desk, tea, the right pen, the right mood, the right playlist, the full ceremony.
Very elegant, very impossible.
Exactly. So, of course, I often did nothing. Then one teacher told me, 5 honest minutes count. That sentence changed me, because progress is not built by perfect performances, it is built by returns. You come back. You start again. You let today be today.
5 honest minutes. I love that.
If this sounds like you, please hear this part.
Missing one day is normal.
Starting small is not cheating,
Imperfect action still changes your life.
and momentum is precious, but it is also gentle. It can begin with one email, one page, one glass washed, one sentence spoken out loud.
So measure success by whether you began, not only by how much you finished.
Yes. Did the train leave the station? Good. It does not need top speed on day one.
And because this is an English learning episode, this is the perfect moment to pause and notice the language from today.
As promised, we are going into the word tour.
This part is excellent for listening practice, replaying, and shadowing with us.
Word tour time.
Take a breath.
You do not need to remember everything today.
Really, 1 or 2 expressions is already good.
And if you want extra listening practice, replay this section later and shadow us line by line.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1 is procrastinate. To procrastinate means to delay something again and again, even when you know it matters.
Example 1. I need to call the dentist, but I keep procrastinating.
Example 2, she is procrastinating on her homework because it feels difficult.
Say it with us. Procrastinate.
Slowly, procrastinate.
One more time. Procrastinate.
Good.
Number 2 is put it off. Put it off means decide not now, later.
Example 1. I was going to clean the kitchen, but I put it off until tomorrow.
Example 2. He keeps putting off that hard conversation with his boss.
Say it with us. Put it off.
One more time. Put it off.
Nice and natural.
Number 3 is avoidance. Avoidance means staying away from something uncomfortable.
Example 1. Scrolling for an hour can be a form of avoidance.
Example 2. Her silence was not laziness. It was avoidance because she felt nervous.
Say it with us. Avoidance.
Slowly. Avoidance.
One more time. Avoidance.
Very good.
Number 4 is tiny step. A tiny step is a very small first action.
Example 1. My tiny step is opening the document.
Example 2. His tiny step is putting on running shoes.
Say it with us. Tiny step.
You can say, I just need one tiny step.
One more time. Tiny step.
Good.
Number 5 is get the ball rolling. This means start something so it can continue more easily.
Example 1. Let's send one email to get the ball rolling.
Example 2. She cleaned one shelf to get the ball rolling on the whole room.
Say it with us. Get the ball rolling.
Slowly, get the ball rolling.
One more time. Get the ball rolling.
Great phrase.
And this is a perfect place to pause and replay if you want shadowing practice.
Yes, you do not need all 10 today.
Keep going with us.
Number 6 is drag your feet. If you drag your feet, you move slowly because you do not want to do something.
Example 1. I dragged my feet before starting my taxes.
Example 2. She was dragging her feet about booking the appointment.
Say it with us. Drag your feet.
One more time. Slowly drag your feet.
Good.
Number 7 is show up. Show up means arrive and begin, even in a small or imperfect way.
Example 1. I did not study for an hour, but I showed up for 10 minutes.
Example 2. Please show up to the meeting on time.
Say it with us. Show up.
You can say, just show up.
One more time. Show up.
Exactly.
Number 8 is perfectionism. Perfectionism is the habit of needing things to be too perfect.
Example 1. His perfectionism stopped him from sending the project.
Example 2. My perfectionism makes simple tasks feel huge.
Say it with us. Perfectionism.
Slowly. Perfectionism.
One more time. Perfectionism.
Nice work.
Number 9 is all or nothing thinking. This means you see only 2 choices, perfect success or total failure.
Example 1. I missed one workout, and my all or nothing thinking said the whole plan was ruined.
Example 2. Because of all or nothing thinking, she studied 0 minutes instead of 10.
Say it with us. All or nothing thinking.
One more time. A little more slowly. All or nothing thinking.
Good. That is a long one, but a useful one.
Number 10 is momentum. Momentum is the energy that grows after you begin and keep going.
Example 1. After 3 days of short study sessions, I felt momentum.
Example 2. One clean corner gave her momentum to clean the rest of the room.
Say it with us. Momentum.
Slowly. Momentum.
One more time. Momentum.
Very nice.
Very nice work today.
Yes, you stayed with real spoken English, and that matters.
And the core idea is simple. Do not wait to become a different person before you begin. Start with one honest step today.
Tiny, awkward, imperfect, still real.
Your small homework is this. Use the phrase tiny step in one sentence from your real life.
Or answer our question from the beginning. What is one thing you have been putting off this week?
Write your sentence or your answer in the comments if you want.
And if this episode helped you, you can subscribe to Tiny Win English or pass it to someone who needs a gentle push.
I'm Chloe.
And I'm Sam.
Thank you for listening, for practicing, and for showing up with us today.
Your train does not need to race tonight. It just needs to leave the station.
We'll meet you in the next video for more real English, a little calm, and one more quiet step forward.
See you next time.